You know, to your point, there's something in the mindset of the terrorists that we've talked to law enforcement and intelligence officials from around the world. They dehumanize people as the other, and they don't treat them like with the humanity and respect they deserve. They don't see them as human beings. And, you know, Doctor, it's striking that in an age of nuclear weapons, proliferation there, and genetically bioengineered toxins, something as simple as a van can kill so many.
Exactly. I mean, they will continue to morph the weapons they use, from the vehicular jihad to trains to whatever it takes to invoke, whether it's machetes. It's not about the weapons. It's about invoking fear in random events that appear to be random, but allow innocent tourists and others to feel that they can't be normal, they can't live a normal life, and we can't change who we are, and we shouldn't. But if we're going to counter that, we need to look at the precursors before they get militarized. We need to look at the precursors of the groups that say that Muslims are victims of bigotry, that they don't fit into society. All of these memes, if you will, that tell Muslims that they can't live happily as free-thinking Muslims in the West, that radicalizes them and begins them on the course of radicalization and creates the separatist idea that then makes them fodder for operationalizing into a van, into killing innocents and dehumanizing them in that last step where non-Muslims become simply dehumanized individuals that they become targets.
You know, to your point, Oxford University looked at the background of terrorists, and they found that the majority of them are university trained. They become engineers or doctors. But, sir, these are decentralized and lethal, very dangerous terror networks. They've got franchises all over the world, and they're using the benefits of capitalism to do their plots. You talked about it, laptop and smartphone devices being turned into bombs, checking luggage with plastic bomb components on commercial airplanes, using eBay and PayPal to stream cash to lone wolves. They're capitalizing on capitalism.
They really are, and it's all hands on deck to see something, say something. We don't know where the next threat's going to be. They try to distract us with an Inspire magazine that talks about trains, while then they use the vehicular jihad to attack large throngs of innocent people shopping. So at the end of the day, we need a cultural shift at every level of society, be it in malls and restaurants, in our military, in our police, in our media, to begin to counter the hate speech. I mean, we had an imam just a month ago doing an hour screed of anti-Semitic Jew hatred in Southern California, and we couldn't get media to pay attention to somehow that is
unacceptable. That is completely unacceptable that is happening in the United States. It's unacceptable, sir. That tells me they're not assimilating to our Bill of Rights and our constitutional values that we have here of freedom and democracy. Go ahead.
And when he was confronted 2 weeks later with an interfaith background, he does an apology saying, well, you know, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. This isn't what it was. Well, listen, that was not good enough. That entire mosque needs to have a mea culpa about its entire books and not only the hate speech, but the books and the literature that teach Muslims that Western society is not theirs, it's not Islamic, that somehow the only way to fight jihad is to dismantle the states that teach jihadism as an obligation of the Islamic State. Not only ISIS, but any Islamic State nationalism needs to be defeated, and we Muslims are the only ones that can solve this, and it needs an all-hands-on-deck at every level of culture, from music to business to military and police and on.
You know, a strong leader sets the tone for an entire bureaucracy. The Trump administration is standing up and saying, you know what? Enough is enough. There is no greater violation of civil rights than being bombed at work or being, you know, struck by a van and killed by terrorists in a tourist area. Why didn't the media cover that story that you just brought to us about what's going on with that mosque in Southern California?
Well, some of us tried to scream about it and talk about it, and some media did, but you're right. The mainstream media is so obsessed with the derangement syndrome of Russia and other things, they are completely ignoring their role in covering topics that are important to be covered for us to be safe and treat the other pathologies that exist that continue to threaten us. Because listen, Liz, there is the constituency that these radicals are pointing to could be a quarter of the world's population, and we Muslims are going through that time in history in which we are either going to reject theocracy or be overtaken by it. And the Western media, be it the heads of Facebook, Google, or others, need to start playing a role in helping empower the reformist voices with the platforms that we have. And even after Manchester, there was huge missed opportunities there with millions paying attention and everybody sort of ignoring the ideology in the middle of the room.